Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everyone is healthy and well. Welcome, all my new supporters. Today we'll be reacting to U.S. Ambassador to Canada, Pete Hoekstra, talks to Vassy Kapelos. Now, is it Vassy or is it Vassy Kapelos? Please let me know in the comments down below. I do not like pronouncing names wrong. Let's go ahead and like the video. Original video link will be down below in the description. Now, Vassy Kapelos is actually a Canadian journalist. I believe she did some type of interview with Pete. A lot of people told me to react to this. I don't know what happened, but let's jump right into it. I know I'll catch on and see what happens as well. You know, it's always something when I check out a video with Pete.
To question period on this Sunday, June 28th. I'm Vassy Kapelos. Today, miles apart. Welcome to question period on this Sunday, June 28th. I'm Vassy Kapelos.
I know I wasn't tripping, bro. I real talk know how to pronounce, bro. Vassy. Oh my gosh. I hear people say Vassy all the time. That's why I was like, let me just go ahead and throw it out there and see what the people say. But I guess I'll say it how everybody's saying it because Vassy. I'm thinking Vassy. Oh my gosh. Man, y'all go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. I should have said that in the beginning. I should have just stuck with myself. I should have just stuck with me and did me. I should have did me. Man. Oh my gosh.
Welcome to question period on this Sunday, June 28th. I'm Vassy Kapelos.
Oh my gosh.
Today, miles apart.
We were not anywhere close to
I'm so proud of myself.
Announcing any type of a framework.
Despite just days to go before the CUSMA review deadline, Washington's top representative in Ottawa says the two sides remain far apart. U.S. President Donald Trump consistently insists his country needs nothing from Canada, despite evidence to the contrary. So what's the path ahead?
Don't mind my face, guys. I got bit by a mosquito coming in the crib. He got me right before I walked through the door. It ain't make no sense. Itching come. Like, why my face itching like this? I'll be touching my face.
Representative in Ottawa says the two sides remain far apart. U.S. President Donald Trump consistently insists his country needs nothing from Canada. Despite evidence to the contrary. So what's the path ahead? We'll bring you part 2 of our exclusive broadcast interview with U.S. Ambassador to Canada, Pete Hoekstra. Then Canada's top soldier.
That's how it's supposed to be pronounced. Right? Hoekstra, right? In the United States, you say Hoekstra. Have I been saying it wrong the whole time? I know there's like various ways to pronounce this, but I mean, I got to get it down. I'm not with the various type of, everybody want to say it how everybody's saying it. What's the proper way of saying this for real? Try to like abbreviate it for me in the comments, please.
Soldier.
It's all about delivering actual military effects with those investments.
This country's military is receiving a cash infusion not seen in decades, but is it improving the armed forces' overall readiness? Chief of the Defense Staff, General Jenny Carignan, is here, and I'll ask her. Plus, gloves off.
I don't believe this represents America. I really don't.
Hunter Biden, son of former U.S. President Joe Biden, is back in the spotlight, but this time it's his brutal honesty and sometimes no-holds-barred social media presence that's capturing attention, including tweets about Canada. So what's motivating this new chapter? Mr. Biden is here, and I'll ask him. We'll start today with the still-fraught CUSMA negotiations. At stake, the very survival of the trilateral free trade agreement. Earlier this week, we brought you part 1 of my exclusive broadcast interview with U.S. Ambassador to Canada, Pete Hoekstra. He made it clear with just days to go to the July 1st deadline, Canada and the U.S. are nowhere near a breakthrough. And despite the two sides making progress in October of last year, the ambassador claims Canada has yet to make another good offer. So, what from the American...
We have yet to make another good offer. Wait a minute, what?
Are nowhere near a breakthrough. And despite the two sides making progress in October of last year, the ambassador claims Canada has yet to make another good offer.
Oh, so we're going to be bickering forever. Yeah, this is going to continue forever at this point. I guess we all should just lose hope, right? Because didn't Mark Carney say the same thing? We just will not take a bad deal. Then I just made a video on that. He specifically made a statement for us. Canada's not taking a bad deal. That's why this is taking so long. And the U.S. is thinking like, oh, well, you're not going to give us a bad deal. I mean, we ain't going to get nowhere, man. We're nowhere.
So what from the American perspective constitutes a good offer? That's where I started part 2 of my conversation with the ambassador.
Well, I mean, again, the offer in October was great. It was 3 or 4 million barrels of oil to the United States per year more. A framework on a steel agreement that would have been good for the U.S., would have been good for Canada. Aluminum, same thing. Uranium, the same thing. Auto parts, the same thing. So I mean, a good deal for both countries is the deal that we both look at and say, you know what, there's a win in here for us. And Canada looks at it and says, you know what, there's a win in here for us as well.
So you think, do you still think it's possible for something to be arrived at eventually that is win-win? Because you will know as anyone else that there's a ton of analysis out there that says the president is not interested in win-win. He's interested in the Americans winning and the Canadians not. And many of his comments...
That's what I'll be saying. Like, we got people representing Trump that say something completely different on their behalf, so they don't seem like the bad guy, and then they come to Trump and it's like, well, it seems like the U.S. is in this for self. My goodness, man. Like,
you will know as anyone else that there's a ton of analysis out there that says the president is not interested in win-win. Something to be arrived at eventually that is win-win. Because you will know as anyone else that there's a ton of analysis out there that says the president is not interested in win-win. He's interested in the Americans winning and the Canadians not. And many of his comments have been to that effect. We don't need Canada. We don't need anything they have to offer us. He said that on repeated occasions.
Yeah, the president's a phenomenal negotiator, all right? But if you read his book, The Art of the Deal.
Pete, you are a master manipulator. Even he can't hold the smile in, bro. So who you fooling? All right, let me go back a little bit. I'm going to go back a smidget because I feel like there was something I wanted to include on top of what he said. But if not, if I forgot, then all right, I'll keep it going. But you see how he tried to like manipulate us a little bit?
Both look at and say, you know what, there's a win in here for us. And Canada looks at it and says, you know what, there's a win in here for us as well.
So you think, do you still think it's possible for something to be arrived at eventually that is win-win? Because you will know as anyone else that there's a ton of analysis out there that says the president is not interested in win-win. He's interested in the Americans winning and the Canadians not. And many of
okay, yeah, we basically covered it. Okay.
Repeated occasions.
Yeah, the president's a phenomenal negotiator.
Manipulation.
All right, but if you read his book, The Art of the Deal, the only way you get to a deal is if both sides see a win in what has been agreed to. And yes, the president negotiates on our behalf. He's negotiating.
You know, now that he's saying this, it comes back to my mind. It's never like a subtle negotiation when you're at the table with the U.S. It's never clear as day what you're getting because there's always something. There's always some type of quirks or something throughout the relationship. There's always something that's not mentioned. Or maybe it's manipulated in some type of way. That way the U.S. gets over on whoever they're doing business with. That's what I wanted to say before. Every time you come to the table with the U.S., you're not going to get everything head up. It's like the business, like the partnership, the friendship is fake before you even get there. Because they holding out already. They already got it in their mind. We're going to hold out on certain things. Not invite them to certain things. This and that. Keep this information for ourselves, In it for self, basically. And that's the U.S.
And yes, the president negotiates on our behalf. He's negotiating for Americans. But you know what? So is Mark Carney. Mark Carney is not negotiating, obviously, for Americans, but he is negotiating for the best interest of Canada. And there are all kinds of things that, we could be working together on and moving forward on. Critical minerals, additional uranium enrichment. Both countries have made a huge commitment to nuclear power. We saw the announcement here this week about that. The United States is doing the same kind of commitment. So we have all kinds of things that are, that the table's almost set for immediate investment and growth and jobs and prosperity in a whole series of areas without even looking out at to where else can we cooperate. There's been talk about the Arctic. We're waiting okay, on this in terms of,
Bro.
you know, does Canada want to do the Arctic by itself?
Nobody. What you mean by itself? I knew he was getting ready to say something ridiculous. Canada is not by themselves in the Arctic. They got mad other countries out there in the Arctic with them. Do I got to go down the list, guys? Come on, man.
In terms of, you know, does Canada want to do the Arctic by itself, defend the Arctic? There've been statements to that effect.
Can you understand why? I think, a number of years ago, what you're laying out would have made perfect sense to Canadians, right? Deepening integration in the areas
that was crazy how she did that. How she did him like that. I think years ago, this would have been good. No, that was crazy.
Effect.
Can you understand why? I think, a number of years ago, what you're laying out would have made perfect sense to Canadians, right? Deepening integration in the areas that matter most, particularly from a continental perspective. And in fact, that's what has occurred over so many years. But in the course of the last, year and a half, the hesitation that you are describing is likely the genesis of, comments and actions by the administration and by the president himself. Canada only works as a state. We don't need anything they have. As a state, it would be one of the great states anyway. Canada is totally dependent on the United States. Without us, Canada can't make it. If we stop buying their products, Canada would cease to exist.
Look at his face. Oh my gosh. And she got them all listed on a piece of paper. That's something I would do. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that's something I would do. Something I would do.
On the United States.
Because not only was it once, twice, or 3 times, or 4 times, like he made it very obvious of how he feels about Canada. He made it very obvious. He wants you guys to be a state. He wants you guys to be a state. He's been disrespecting Canada for some time now, though, because even your last prime minister calling him a governor and everything, I understand, like, it doesn't matter what that person's doing or what they're not doing. If their position is prime minister, you can't call him no governor, bro. Like, that is crazy. Like, that's crazy. I don't know.
And actions by the administration and by the president himself. Canada only works as a state. We don't need anything they have. As a state, it would be one of the great states anyway. Canada is totally dependent on the United States. Without us, Canada can't make it. If we stop buying their products, Canada would cease to exist as a country. If someone spoke to the United States that way, would you be advocating for deeper integration, or would you too have some hesitance?
We would take a look at our business community, where we're doing well. We wouldn't go to our largest trading partner and say there's a rupture, and we're actually going to be looking somewhere else.
Oh my gosh. Did he just lie to our face? Did he just lie to her face? Like, he straight up just looked her directly in the eye. This man just looked her in the eye and said that nonsense. Man, if somebody said that about the U.S., you'd be spending our tax dollars right now and getting the military right. Stop it. They'll already be on their way. Stop it. That was ridiculous. I can't believe he tried to...
Rupture, and we're actually going to be looking somewher else.
You wouldn't do that if someone expressed to the United States. Pardon me, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. We would take a look at that, and we'd say, okay, let's see exactly what we can develop, what kind of agreements we can develop. And obviously, we would take a look at going to alternative sources. But Canadians are smart people, okay? You have smart business people. They have been looking at diversification for years and decades. This is not a brilliant new idea that says, wow, let's sell to Europe, let's sell to Asia, okay? That's not a great insight. What they found, and I've spent a lot of time with your business community, they have found that doing business in Europe is not easy. It is hard, okay? The French like to buy from the Germans, they like to buy from...
Oh, that's because America doesn't do things the right way. You can't put a Walmart in Germany and think it's going to succeed. Now, can you? Without putting German workers in there, German policies, German worker rights, rules, this, that, and that. You can't keep the same thing. You can't bother customers that walk in and greet them at the door. Can I see your, like, a little weird stuff you do in the U.S. that you let slide? Can't do that in other countries. You got to adapt, and this is why those other countries choose to work with such people like Canada, because Canada knows how to adapt. They understand. They got that relation with everyone. It's like the U.S. just thinks that, big and better. You come to our country, oh, you're here for a reason. Good. What? Like, wait a minute. Hold on real quick. Because we see the effect. When nobody come here, we ain't nothing. When nobody comes to the U.S., we ain't nothing. Like, everybody literally keeps the U.S. running. We all keep each other running, don't we? That's how it's supposed to be.
Not easy. It is hard. Okay? The French like to buy from the Germans, they like to buy from the Dutch, and they like to buy from the Spaniards and all those types of things. Maybe they would like to buy some Canadian, but it's not their first place where they go. So diversification, this is for your economists to figure out how fast it can happen and those types of things. But I think it's hard. But I would never take your biggest customer. We would never have taken our biggest customer and just thrown them under the bus and say, sorry, we're out of here.
Well, that's because we ain't really had that much options. We didn't have too many options. We didn't have too many options. I feel like Mark Carney knew what he was capable of. I feel like he knew, like, all right, if such and such does happen, then I'll branch out and diversify Canada's relations. And he made it look so easy to the point where I feel like he had it planned. Like he had it as a backup plan. That's how I feel. I feel like, I don't know. He said he knows Trump very well. Behind closed doors, the conversations are completely different. Then you see this man out on the podium talking crazy, reckless, and you look at him, you looking directly at him, Carney, like, man, what? We just spoke behind closed doors. It's completely different. Completely different. In my mind, I'd be imagining Trump, like, doing that to Carney, a little wink or something, like, I got this, propaganda, and stuff like that, like drama, views, stuff like that to get the politics going, to get people more intrigued. I feel like that's what he try to do sometimes. But it don't be going right. And I feel like that right there made Mark Carney think from the very beginning, like, oh, maybe I should have a backup plan. Because if they can say such and such to you behind closed doors, but then snake you in front of the whole world, literally? Oh, no. Oh, no. What you think they planning behind closed doors? And, I mean, we've seen it multiple times. Canada wasn't a part of a lot of things the U.S. Was in business with or a part of. Wasn't invited, and that's crazy.
I think it's hard, but I would never take your biggest customer. We would never have taken our biggest customer and just thrown them under the bus and say, sorry, we're out of here.
But do you understand how that's exactly how it felt to Canadians? And I know you push back against these, but we were your biggest customer,
Let's
right?
talk about business, okay? How are you going to create jobs and prosperity for your people? We do business with people that don't say the nicest things about America, all right?
But see, that's only, I wanted to say that before too, but I don't like pauses so much. I'm sorry. But only the U.S. does that. That's two-faced. That's that fake love, and I don't like that. When people could fake love, do business with you and this and that, the U.S. can do that. You know how to play both sides. Be enemies and friends. Just to get what you want, this and that. Nah. But then you plotting and scheming in the background, in the dark. And so is the other country. Like, no. Canada want nothing but peace. We want to know that it's nothing but love. Nothing but loyalty and respect. Like
business with people that don't say the nicest things
that's at least
about
how
America.
I rock. I mean,
all right? And
not all money's worth it.
We do
not all
business.
business work.
The amazing thing is a lot of Canadian business are still looking at expanding into the U.S. You know what? There's a lot of American businesses that would love to do business in Canada, even though you ban our products. You know, we can't bid on procurement and those types of things.
I have questioned many federal ministers about
if Canada unbans our products and you all go to Canada right now and open up your American businesses, you still fail. You want the truth? I'm giving it to you. If you watch this video right now and that's what you're thinking, maybe I can move to Canada and show them that I'm a part of them. I'm on their side. I'm on their team. Move to their country, this and that. You're going to go bankrupt. You're going to move there for no reason. They're going to chase you out that country. I can't speak for Canadians, but all I know is, like, they support in anything. Okay, they're supporting everything. Everyone but America. There we go. Everyone but America. And that's what a lot of countries is living by right now. So good luck with that. I got the most faith in, you know, I wish nothing but the most prosperity for you, you know, your future and everything. But I'm just being honest, guys. I can't be out here giving false hope and false dreams to people, especially when this is reality. It's not you. That's what I'm saying. It's not at your fingertips. The business would go great because it's at your fingertips. You got that entrepreneur mindset and everything. I understand you got it, but it's not in your fingertips. It's not about you. This is politics. It's not about you. It's deeper than you. You know what I'm saying? Canada, the Canadians ain't mad at you. It's politics. So anything American, I don't think they're going to support that straight up. I don't think they're going to support it straight up. And I don't think they want to be seen supporting it. Especially if they in their country. What do they need American in their country? They got everything there, you know? I don't know. Maybe some will support, maybe want, you know, some won't. Because, like, some would consider me, I'll be like, oh, do you live here? You live in Canada? I'd be like, all right, but you're selling U.S. I don't know how it would work out in the times like we're living in now. That's all I'm saying. I've seen the interviews with Canadians, and I know how nice you guys are. But at the same time, I've seen the interviews with Canadians, and I know how serious you guys are at the same time. That's why I'm saying this.
And those types of things.
I have questioned many federal ministers about the efforts to diversify, the challenges previously and the challenges that presents right now.
Okay.
But you framed the initial comment there around, taking issue with the fact that it's being described as a rupture. But you want us to refer to the comments from the president, for example, or the way in which he's described this country as simply noise. I'm presenting to you just like when you're wondering why there might be some hesitation not to further integration or make that sales pitch. In the way you describe it, that perhaps is part of it, that part of the responsibility and the onus, the burden of that lies not just with Canada, but specifically with the president who decided to take aim at your close friend and neighbor.
We did not take aim at Canada.
Those statements are not.
I might as well end the video right here then. I mean, I don't know why we're still watching this. It's pretty obvious we ain't gonna get nowhere. Might as well just end it right here. I feel like we've heard enough. No, seriously. You can't make this up.
Take aim at your close friend and neighbor.
We did not take aim at Canada.
I can every time when I hear that again, I kind of trigger something.
The president who decided to take aim at your close friend and neighbor.
We did not take aim at Canada.
Those statements are not taking aim, with all due respect, Ambassador.
The taking aim, take a look at your economic, we put tariffs on every country in the world. We did not take aim at Canada. We took a policy that we were implementing on a global basis that we believed we had to put in place to keep America strong and prosperous.
But that took bashing Mexico and Canada. Stop trying to manipulate me, man. You can't do that to me. Oh my goodness. Did you see how he just tried to play us like that, bro? That's what I be saying. He not gonna play me and my folk like that. My people watching this videos, we here with it. You know what I'm saying? We right on with it, baby. Like we can't keep up or something. That was crazy right there, bro. I would, Mr. P, with all due respect, I would have cut him off right there. Right at the CTV, what was it called? Is it CTV News? What is this? The CTV News, I would have cut him off right there on the spot, on the scene. No, real quick.
Canada. We took a policy that we were implementing on a global basis.
On a global basis, but the only two countries bordering the U.S. that was the main issue was Mexico and Canada. What you talking about the other countries for? Man, you know who the main people was that you was pointing out, even though it was less than 2%. Less than 2% coming from Canada.
That we believed we had to put in place to keep America strong and prosperous. So, there were only two countries that responded in a strongly negative way. Okay?
He better not name the countries that's bordering the U.S. just to make it seem like that's the reason they were targeted.
Rest of the world, we've negotiated trade agreements, we've worked on frameworks and those types of things. We did not take aim at Canada.
Really? And I ask with great respect, because yes, you did apply tariffs to other countries, but you initially applied 232 fentanyl-associated tariffs to Canada. And wherein the president, did not refer to every other country in the way that, as I cataloged, he has referred to Canada. I understand that you're upset with the response that Canada made.
I'm not upset. It doesn't bother me.
Okay, you don't view the response from Canada positively, but from where I sit, it seems like you're frustrated with the idea that when Canada got punched, they didn't just lay there.
That, Canada can have whatever response it wants. Okay, we are willing to do business with Canada. The president has made that clear. He embraced the agreement back in October for 5 huge sectors of this economy, saying we were willing to invest, we were willing to cooperate and create a framework that we thought would be good for America and we thought would be good for Canada, and that we would then take that and expand it to other sectors.
I don't think he's understanding. But at the end of the day, these statements was made. Why are we talking about doing business, bro? Here's why we. But it's like how look, that it's driving me crazy because we're in a loop now. I feel like I just watched this, right? Am I tripping? She's sitting there giving a list of reasons, comments that Trump has said, and then he going back to talk. Yeah, but the U.S. wants to do business, What are we doing? Then she goes back to stay in the comments. With all due respect, U.S. ambassadors, da-da-da-da-da. Trump said this and that and that. Yes, but, we do business with people that, don't like us as well, or we have issues with. The U.S. wants to do business. I'm getting tired of hearing that, bro. They got one more time to say that. I'm cutting the video off. Real talk, I'm cutting the video off. I'm cutting it off. I'll do it.
Canada, and that we would then take that and expand it to other sectors of a total agreement. And, but if Canada wants to be hesitant, they can do that. But the other message that we send is very positive. We recognize the needs we have. Okay, we need critical minerals. We've indicated to Canada, we think you're very much a natural partner. You're close by, you have lots of these, but if you don't want to sign an agreement with us, we understand. Okay, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop. Okay, so we go to Australia, we go to Africa, we go to the Philippines, lots of other countries to meet our needs, even though we think in many ways.
That's talking out the jaw though, because there's some things that we need right away from Canada, such as like oil, electricity, this and that. Water, we need that right away, and we could get some of those things within a split second from Canada because of how close they are as neighbors, and we can have pipeline systems set up and everything. How you gonna have a pipeline system set up from the U.S. to Africa, from the U.S. to China, from the U.S. to Australia? Nice.
Canada would be the preferred partner. Same thing on oil. In many ways, Canada would be the preferred partner.
Because they're closer.
Same thing on oil. We would love to, do more business with Alberta and the oil-producing provinces, and because we have the infrastructure, We know how to do business with the Canadian businesses that are on the north side of the border. We know how to build pipelines. We know how to get oil from Alberta down to Houston, okay? That infrastructure's in place. But if Canada says, no, we don't want a pipeline and we don't want any more integration with the U.S. on oil, it's kind of like, okay, then we'll have to look somewhere else because we are going to be energy dominant.
They're not saying that right now, though, right?
Who's that?
Like anybody in the federal government or provincially that is in an oil-producing province or the prime minister. I mean, they talk about the prospect of the other version of Keystone. We've seen presidential permits issued on that side of the border, work being done on this side of the border. You even denoted a few weeks ago a bit of a shift in tone from the prime minister and other politicians. Does that have the potential to make any difference moving forward?
If it's consistent. Okay, if it's consistent.
Do you observe it to be so far?
Well, I mean, I think there was a very good response to the Prime Minister's speech in New York. His most recent comments in France raised questions again. There's going to be a new world order. It's going to come out of Europe, and Canada wants to be a part of it. It's kind of like, okay.
Can't that just be noise? If we're supposed
Sure
to make Donald Trump noise, can't that just be noise?
It's noise, and we have to work through the noise, but we haven't come back and said, okay, yeah, we're not going to do business with Canada. We're still saying, we are willing to do business with Canada. We want to do business with Canada. It could be noise. And then part of my job is to interpret it and present it back to the president and say, they really do want to do business with us. But at the same time, there are questions that are raised in terms of do they? There was just a defense contract that U.S. companies couldn't even bid on. It's kind of like, okay, that's a problem.
I'm glad you brought that up, if you don't mind, Ambassador, because I did want to ask about the F-35s. You rightly pointed out last time we met, in our first interview,
I try to do everything rightfully, even though I'm wrong so often.
No, you try around NORAD, right? And whether or not, we're still, it's funny because that was almost a year ago, and we're still talking about whether or not Canada will proceed with the F-35s. It's been well over a year that review has been underway. There's some reporting now that they'll still proceed with the order, but add an order for the Gripens. How does the U.S. view that? And is NORAD in jeopardy with this decision?
The one decision will not kill NORAD, okay? What we look at is a whole series of decisions that say, if you buy fighters that don't integrate with the latest technology and the best airplane in the world, they don't really count as full airplanes. They're capable and all that, but if they don't link to an F-35, that's a problem. If you buy surveillance or spy planes that don't integrate with NORAD or the U.S., okay, that becomes an issue. If you say you want to protect the Arctic by yourselves, okay, that says, well, okay, then are we changing the boundaries and the scope of the work that NORAD? Those are things that we have, that you work through with discussions and those kinds of things.
Okay, I'm going to leave it on that note. I've taken enough of your time. Thank you, Ambassador. A pleasure. I appreciate you making the time for it.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Enough of
through with discussions and those kinds of things.
Okay, I'm going to leave it on that note. I've taken enough of your time. Thank you, Ambassador. A pleasure. I appreciate you making the time for it.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
I kind of wish that
those kinds of things.
I kind of wish that the interview kept going. I kind of wish the interview was longer, man. Oh, this video was already 35 minutes. Oh my gosh, guys, please share your honest thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. What are your honest projections towards the future of our relationship? I feel like I ask this every single video, man. I always think we're going to get closer and closer, but never. We're getting farther and farther away. So I'm just going to go on a limb and say, when Trump is out of office, all things will be resolved. Until then, Canada will be complacent. You guys will be a little more strategic with your decisions, especially towards your country and the future of it and everything. Oh, we know how much it's worth. So therefore, I don't think Carney would get the whole country mixed up in any of that again, because one, you guys will be very disappointed, Two, it's not going to provide no long prosperity for Canada at all. It's not going to fix anything, especially if somebody has said something so disrespectful to you or treated you a certain way, and even trying to put up a hard fight, you still take them back or take them in and do business with them or gain a friendship again. They're going to think they could do it again in the future, or they're going to try to be a little more strategic and smart about how to screw you over. And that's just the truth, man. That's just the truth, man. But that's my predictions, What are yours? In the comments down below. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Turn all post notifications on. Follow my Twitch and Kick for the live streams in the description. And subscribe to all my other YouTube channels in the description as well. I love you all so much. Flood my comment section with more videos for us to react to, just like how you guys did for this one right here. I promise, though, the next one, it will not be 40 minutes. Well, I can't really promise that, but, this was one of those ones right here. And I'm sorry if it was too long, guys. I'm sorry. Stay safe, and I hope to catch everyone in the next reaction video. Let me know, were there any triggering things, any triggering moments throughout this video that really caught your attention or pissed you off, You just felt the need to have to pause the video or go run to the comments. Please let me know what moment. Maybe timestamp it or something and put it in the comments. That way I can just click right on it and it's gonna take me to that part. That way I can relate. Like, oh yeah.